Welcome back on board the Normandy, guys. So, big episode last time. We found Liara Sony, the matriarch's daughter. She was trapped on a planet in here in the Artemis Tau cluster. It's a bit weird that the first planet I came to had her on. I don't know if the game's designed in a way that whichever one of the planets you go to first in this cluster has her on, so you always find her first, or whether I just got really lucky. I'm not sure. But I think it might be the case that she's on whichever one you go to first. So yeah, we fought the Geth. We saw some new types of Geth. The kind of almost like a synthetic biological Geth, who are really malleable and athletic and can jump around, difficult to hit. I've forgotten their name, it's in our codex. And they were also being led by a Krogan Battlemaster, Warmaster, I'm not sure. Another gun for hire, basically, and we had to kill him before the whole place collapsed. So before we decide where we're going to go to next, we've got some codex entries to read, and we need to go and talk to our squad mates. So let's have a look. I think I've got some level ups now. I'm sure I'll find out, but I don't know if everybody levels up or whether I need to make sure I round everybody out. I'm getting kind of feelings of playing Final Fantasy, and I'd make sure that you'd have to make sure everyone was leveled up together. So I'm going to put these points into Charm and Intimidate. For the time being, and then we'll think about what to do with more points later on. So codex entries. There's nothing in the secondary tab. I think this is just old stuff from ships and vehicles.
Faster than light, larger.
Okay, so what was that called?
Faster than light, larger war.
Military ship classifications. I'm sure we've read something along these lines before, but never mind. Larger warships are generally classified in one of four weights. Frigates are small, fast ships used for scouting and screening larger vessels. Frigates often operate in wolf pack flotillas. Cruisers are middleweight combatants, faster than dreadnoughts and more heavily armoured than frigates. Cruisers are the standard patrol unit and often lead frigate flotillas. Dreadnoughts are kilometre-long capital ships mounting heavy long-range firepower. They are only deployed for the most vital missions. Carriers are dreadnought-sized vessels that also carry large numbers of fighters. Smaller vessels are almost exclusively used in a support role to the warships during combat. Fighters are a one-man craft used to perform close-range attacks on enemy ships. Interceptors are one-man crafts optimized for destroying opposing fighters. Obviously, I didn't mention the whole kind of discussion we had with Liara about there being something that's exterminating multiple different prominent races, right? Like the Protheans. She's saying that I don't know if she said she doesn't necessarily have any evidence, but she thinks that like the races that came before the Protheans, that the Protheans leaned on for technology also, were wiped out by a similar thing. Whether that thing was the Reapers too, I guess we're going to find out. So technology.
Bionics is the element 0 can increase.
Okay, Mass Effect fields. Element 0 can increase or decrease the mass of a volume of space-time when subjected to an electrical current. With a positive current, mass is increased. With a negative current, mass is decreased. The stronger the current, the greater the magnitude of the dark energy mass effects. In space, low mass fields allow faster than light travel and inexpensive surface-to-orbit transit. High mass fields create artificial gravity and push space debris away from vessels. In manufacturing, low mass fields permit the creation of evenly blended alloys, while high mass compaction creates dense, sturdy construction materials. This is going over my head, man, just like that other thing we read last time. The military makes extensive use of mobility-enhancing technologies, with Mass Effect utilising fighting vehicles standard frontline issue in most military forces. Mass Effect fields are also essential in the creation of kinetic barriers or shields to protect against enemy fire. Yeah, I mean, we all have things that we can like read or listen to intently, but things about physics and its composite parts kind of just I don't process it. Well, I don't process it quickly or without multiple readings. Whereas when it's stuff about kind of history, that kind of stuff, like yeah, I can absorb that quite a bit better. Okay, I think that's everything in the codex. Excellent. We might have some more equipment. I'm not sure. We've picked up a lot of stuff. There's no point in us in equipping a lot of this stuff. Maybe it'd be worth us equipping a sniper rifle because we can still utilise that. Oh, we've already got a hammer too. Okay. I hope we get some more armour at some point. We can only use light armour, right? I might have to go into decryption as well, because we're not always going to have Tali in the team, so that might have been a bit of a grave mistake giving her decryption. But we've got hacking with her, which is useful. I don't necessarily have to put... I think I might have maxed out a decryption, actually. I might live to regret that. I don't know if we can reset the points at some point during the game. Probably not. Okay, so we need to talk to everyone. Let's see what's going on out here. What does our journal tell us to do? Oh right, so we've just got Feros and Novaria. I'm probably going to explore the rest of this system first. This, the Tau cluster, whatever it's called. Right, so let's talk to everyone. Hey there, Presley.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, there's
Carry
nothing,
on, Presley.
nothing
Yes,
new
ma'am.
there.
Yes, Commander.
Oops,
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
I was trying to run. Thank you, Mr. Doorman. Right, let's go talk to the crew. There's usually some of them in here, right? There's Caden. Ashley usually hangs out around here, right? Hey there, Caden.
Commander, do you have a minute?
Sure.
I always make time for my officers.
Off the record, I think there's something wrong here. This Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
Right, so what do you expect me to do?
We've got our orders. Belly aching won't change them.
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. I mean, it's funny, we finally get out here and the final frontier was already settled. And the residents don't even seem impressed by the view. Or the dangers.
Zip it. A cute way to look at it. Ugh. Don't like that. So I guess maybe he's implying that the council are in on it, maybe? I guess the council are just kind of, maybe they're a bit complacent or they're kind of ignorant due to their own power or status. Is one way of looking at it, I suppose. Yeah, it's an old-fashioned view.
Well, well. You're a romantic. Did you sign on for the dream, Malenko? Secure a man's future in space?
Yeah, I read a lot of those books when I was a kid, where the hero goes to space to prove himself worthy of a woman he loves, or, you know, for justice. Now, maybe I was a romantic in the beginning, but I thought about it after brain camp. Biotic acclimation and temperance training. I'm not looking for the dream. I just want to do some good. See what's out here.
Okay.
Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
I'm just going to go for the option I want to, rather than thinking about Renegade and Paragon. I want to ask what they trained him for. What did they train you for?
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
Survival rate. I thought it was a spillage, right? So you'd say it was the corporations. Yeah, corporations.
I heard all about that. How companies would arrange accidents to expose people to element 0.
There was never any proof of that. It's not what happened in my case, anyway. My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
Tell me about Jump Zero.
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using mass effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
So was it tough to make friends there? Did you feel like you were an experiment, like a subject of an experiment, or like you didn't belong?
There were other kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out. We didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and Kinetics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
Time to get physical then. I guess that meant you had time to talk.
Then you must have had plenty of time to get to know each other.
Yeah, we'd sit around and bull every night after dinner, play cards or network games. There was this girl named Rana, who had a little circle grow up around her. She was from Turkey, her family was very rich, but she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful, but not stuck up about it. Like you, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, if I've learned anything in my life, it's that if if you try to compliment a woman or a woman you're interested in, don't bring up someone else. Don't bring up another woman who you used to like or love or be interested in. That's like a one-way ticket to like irritating them. Did you love her, Caden?
Sounds like she was special to you.
She was. Maybe she felt the same. But things never felt together. Training, you know.
Fair enough. Okay, so do you think that... Did you know of any intentional exposures, or are they all just rumors?
You know of any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to track down accidentals. It was different then. No one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation. Anything Kinetics did was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts, but in retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
Little too convenient. Sounds rough.
Jump Zero's a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. Anyway, this was supposed to be a casual debrief, not a bull session about stuff that happened years ago.
Yeah, I'd like to know my crew.
We have to depend on each other in combat. I like knowing what kind of man I have at my back.
I understand, ma'am. I won't let you down. You, make a habit of getting this personal with everyone?
These kind of seem backwards. Surely no, just you sounds like the Paragon response. Okay, maybe that sounds a little flirty. What do you think? Yeah, to some degree.
Of course. But I don't enjoy it with everyone. We'll talk again later.
I'll need some time to process that, Commander. But, yeah, I'd like that.
Oh god. Is he a romance option? Oh no. Oh, sweet. Okay, that I don't know. I'm not sure what I think of him. He's a little bland, I suppose. I mean, we've not learned enough about him, but that's my impression. I can have an impression. Okay, now in here. There's the doctor. Oh, sweet, replenish the Medijar. Good to know that that's here. I'll talk to the doctor in a second. Oh, here's Liara. Excellent. Let's talk to the doctor first.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Oh, it's dark in here, doctor. Hey there, Liara. This will be interesting. We've not really spoke to her much yet.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
Yeah, I guess we are a little worried about her. I mean, she was trapped in that field, she's on her own, she noticed that her own mother's trying to capture her or kill her, right?
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
Goodbye. I like the doctor, yeah, she's the best.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
You're welcome.
I'm just glad we got there in time.
So am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
I know.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
I mean, we can't necessarily trust her innately, but she seems like overwhelmingly genuine, but I don't know how. We just don't know. But I don't know if this is going to disappear, so I'm going to say this first. Can you tell me about yourself?
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
I mean, she obviously enjoys it. I mean, why else would she do it? We've heard her speak about the Protheans already, so we know she loves her work. But do you not get lonely while you're on these digs?
Sounds dangerous and lonely.
Sometimes I would run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumble across a small band of mercenaries or privateers, but I was always careful. Until the Geth followed me to Artemis Tau, I never found myself in any situation my biotics could not handle. As for the solitude, well, that is one aspect that most appealed to me. Sometimes I just need to get away from other people.
I agree with that as well, I do. do find if I'm around people, like, you know, day after day, and you feel, and then, you know, by the time you do get like home or whatever, and you have some space with yourself, you're too tired to really enjoy it. That wears on me a bit. I do like to have a bit of solitude. But why? Have you had bad experiences with people before?
You don't like other people?
I suppose it comes from being a matriarch's daughter.
Right.
People expected me to follow in Benezia's footsteps. They wanted me to become a leader of our people. Matriarchs guide their followers into the future. They seek the truth of what is yet to come. Maybe that's why I became so interested in the secrets of the past. It sounds so foolish when I say it out loud. It sounds like I became an archaeologist simply to spite Benezia.
Right, because she's looking to the future, you're looking to the past. No, I don't think it's foolish. I think it's pretty worthwhile. We know that she likes it.
All children rebel against their parents. It's a natural part of growing up.
You share the wisdom of the matriarch, Shepard. That is exactly what Benezia said when I told her of my decision. But there was more to it than that. I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them. That is why I find you so fascinating. You were marked by the beacon on Eden Prime. You were touched by working Prothean technology.
Don't try to study me. It's not necessarily us that's fascinating, it's the Prothean visions that we've got, right? Fascinating?
Sounds like you want to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No, I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepard. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Yeah, just relax.
Calm down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter
Scientists.
Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people.
Me too.
Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
I do that a lot, to be fair. I always put my foot in it. No filter. So, what can you tell me about Asari culture?
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Okay. So it's interesting then, you know, kind of what she said about Benezia. Looking to the future, looking for, like, the way forward for her people as a leader. It's interesting with all that she's allied herself with Seren, so she must see Seren and the Geth as a way of progressing things, right? With some sort of end goal outside of just wiping out humanity or finding the Reapers. What kind of rumors?
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals.
Ah.
My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
That's disgusting. That's what Ashley would say. So I'm guessing that this is... They just need like a... I'm guessing that it's going to be like they just need like a genetic sample, so maybe it's to do with just like skin-on-skin contact. Maybe there's no kind of sexual element to it.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings.
Okay,
We can touch the very depths of their minds.
interesting.
We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits onto our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
So I'm guessing that's why there's no mixed race Asari in a physical sense. I'm guessing that the Asari that will be born will still look fully Asari, but they will have their psychological makeup will be different. I imagine that's what this means. So the other parent, sounds like the other parent won't be involved. They're very much unimportant, it seems. I just wanted to say about before, you know, Shepard saying, Amanita saying, you know, all kids rebel against their parents. But it's not true for everyone, right? I think it just depends on the parenting style. And I suppose it would be more likely, not more likely, but it would seem more apparent in a when there's only a single parent. When there's two parents, you might be a bit more on side with one of them, you know, in terms of personalities and clashes of ideals and stuff. So does the other parent have any involvement, or are they just... They said in and out then. What about them?
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
I mean, there's always going to be an age difference with the Asari because they live... Did it say up to like 1,000 or something? Do you know your father, or was he not present? I can't imagine that Benezia needed much use of... I guess father would be the wrong term. Would father be the wrong term as well? Who was... yeah. Father?
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose
A partner,
as your partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
So she's maybe never met this Asari. So it's not father, is it? Well, I suppose it could be seen that way, right? But not in a gendered way, but because Benezia gave birth to her, I guess. That makes her the mother, I suppose. But you don't know exactly who.
Benezia never told you her partner's name?
Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained.
Right.
Or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood. Though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face, it is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Okay, so that ties in maybe a bit with her not liking being around people because she's always kind of maybe felt that shame about herself. Or she's sensed it from other people maybe, and she's just kind of taken it on board when she shouldn't, didn't need, when it, because in her culture it's frowned upon. That's interesting. That's like an opposite, isn't it? Like the purebred or whatever it was, pure blood is seen as a bad thing. I guess it's so they see that kind of mating as like almost incestuous. Okay. It is possible was embarrassed. Yeah. So she's never publicly acknowledged you as her daughter. Yeah, that's terrible.
How could anyone abandon their own child?
I cannot answer that. This is all speculation on my part. It is possible she wanted to be part of my life, but something happened to her before she had the chance. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived.
Yeah.
Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Yeah, like if an Asari, if the father, you know, was a Solarian, I mean, they die before they're 50, right? So. So it must be difficult to deal with. How do they deal with that?
You Asari live for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
It's a good way of looking at any relationship, right? After loss. Okay, what can you tell me about Benezia?
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
Yeah, you sound a bit worried about this. Maybe she's just evil. No, we're not saying that.
This hurts you, doesn't it?
None of this makes any sense to me. I have not spoken to Benezia in many years, but I know her, and this was not like her. Something changed.
Interesting. Okay, Liara. Really fascinating to talk to her. So what have we learned? We've learned about the genetic diversity, parenthood. Benezia herself has had somewhat. So this isn't like her. She's had a shift in personality. So maybe she's being blackmailed. Maybe something happened to her. Maybe someone's died, or someone's been killed by humans that she was close to. Maybe she's being blackmailed in some way. Maybe Saren knows something that she's done that could result in her being exiled or arrested by the council. Interesting.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Lovely to talk to you, Liara. Okay, we've got some codex entries. Okay. Was it just the government one we've got? Now let's read both. I might have already read this, but it'd be interesting to read it again in light of the new information. Because of their long lifespan, Asari tend to have a long view not common in other races. When they encounter a new species or situation, the Asari are more comfortable with an extended period of passive observation and study than immediate action. They are unfazed that some of their investments or decisions may not pay off for decades or centuries. Matriarchs can seem to make incomprehensible decisions, but their insight is evident when their carefully laid plans come to fruition. In interstellar relations, this long view manifests in an unspoken policy of centrism. The Asari instinctively seek to maintain stable balances of economic, political, and military power. This sounds like me in Disco Elysium, doesn't it? Traditionally, Asari spread their influence through cultural domination and intellectual superiority. They invite new species of advanced development to join the galactic community, knowing that their ideals and belief will inevitably influence the existing culture. And I guess they'll end up having offspring with a lot of the races that they meet, so they're kind of absorbing them in a lot of ways, right? The Asari came late to the concept of world government. For centuries, their homeworld of Thessia was dotted with loose confederacies of great republican cities. The closest earthly equivalent would be the ancient Mediterranean city-states. Since the Asari culture values consensus and accommodation, there was little impetus to form larger principalities. Rather than hoard resources, the Asari bartered freely. Rather than attack one another over differing philosophies, they sought to understand one another. Only in the information age did the city-states grow close. Communication over internet evolved into an electronic democracy. Asari have no politicians or elections, but a freewheeling, all-inclusive legislature that citizens can participate in at will. Policy debates take place at all hours of the day in official chat rooms and forums moderated by specially programmed VIs. All aspects of policy, so Reddit, no, not really. All aspects of policy are open to plebiscites at any time. In any given debate, the Asari tend to lend the most credence to the opinions of any matriarchs present, nearly always deferring to the experience of these millennia-old wise women. Achieving consensus through public debate may take too long in a crisis. In cases where prompt, decisive action is required, the Asari defer to the wisdom of the local matriarchs. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, so their lifespan has just kind of greatly shaped their attitudes to things. War seems kind of unimportant, and death by unnatural means perhaps is seen as something a lot more horrible to do to a creature who would live for so long, right? Or a person, sorry, who'd live for so long, you know? Because it's like, you know, if someone was to die in war and they were 25 back in, you know, in medieval times, well, it's like, oh, I would have only lived another 15 years anyway. I've lived most of my life already. I guess you could have that kind of carefree attitude towards it. Whereas if you were 50 years old as an Asari, you have another 900 years left. So that would be I suppose you could say that would be more of a tragedy. I know you'll consider all lives as equal, but okay, is this new? The beacon was a Prothean artifact unearthed on the Alliance colony of Eden Prime. Its resemblance to the Prothean databanks recovered on Mars provoked immediate interest from the Alliance and Citadel Council. It proved to be a solid-state data storage device, an SSD, part of a galaxy-spanning comm network similar to the modern extranet. Intact Prothean paleo-technology is rare. The beacon seemed to promise another quantum leap of technology akin to the discovery of the Mass Effect drives and drive and relays. Unfortunately, the beacon also drew the attention of the rogue Spectre Saren Arterius and his synthetic allies, the Geth. A dawn raid by his flagship Sovereign resulted in hundreds of civilian casualties. The beacon was badly damaged. The motives behind the attack are still being investigated. During the recovery operation, the beacon fired a pulse of energy at the executive officer of the Alliance frigate Normandy. Lieutenant Commander Shepard survived and appears to have suffered no ill effects. Afterwards, the beacon fell inert. The mechanism appears to be dead. Oh god, no. No! We've got to read it now. A Gagarin station is the largest deep space station built by humanity. A Bernal sphere design with a 500-meter diameter habitable area. It was constructed beyond Pluto, nearly 80 astronomical units from Sol. Moving crew and material to this location bankrupted most of the backers. Gagarin was placed at the inner edge of the heliopause, the point at which the solar wind can no longer push back the interstellar medium. It was built to test a number of faster-than-light drive principles that theoretically could only occur in interstellar space. Interesting. The station was nicknamed Jump Zero, as it was intended to be the jumping-off point for humanity's expansion into the galaxy. Shortly after the station was completed, the Prothean ruins were discovered on Mars, rendering the entire effort moot. After struggling to make a profit for a decade, Gagarin was sold to the Systems Alliance in 2159 for a fraction of its construction costs. The Alliance refurbished it as a research and training centre for the recently discovered biotic phenomenon. In 2169, the biotic acclimation and training program was shut down and Gagarin became a general research facility. Its remote location and intentional isolation from the extranet makes it popular for dangerous research, particularly in the field of artificial intelligence. Oh. Humanity's first stable artificial intelligence, the Alliance-sponsored ELIZA, achieved sapience at Gagarin in 2172. What? Sapience, not sentience, Matt. Come on. Today, Gagarin Station has a permanent population of approximately 9,000. A plan has been proposed to move it to the gravitationally stable Barry center point between Pluto and Chiron Relay, allowing it to serve as a gateway facility between the Sol and Arcturus systems. The high cost of safely moving its mass has delayed this indefinitely. Interesting about the AIs. We'll read the other thing in a bit. Okay, so let's go and talk to some other crew members. That's Caden on the map. Okay. Oh, we've got some information on the sleeper pods. Okay, so we'll head downstairs or to the lower decks. Try and talk to the other people. We didn't really get to talk to Ashley too much last time. She just kind of said she wasn't in the mood for talking, didn't she? Maybe she'll have more to say. There she is. Let's talk to Garrus first. Hello there.
Hey, Commander. Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
Sure.
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard
Oh,
Alliance
right.
issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Why should
Hey,
I
yeah.
pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods.
Yeah, I get it,
Without
I
the
get it.
goods, I'm out of a job.
Where'd you get them from?
How often will you get new items?
Well, that depends on how many licenses you've purchased. But I'll rotate items on a regular basis regardless. And anytime we land someplace with a big enough port, I'll buy, sell, and trade whatever I can.
Okay.
Check back often. I need to move items quickly, so only the most basic items will be stocked consistently.
Where'd you get these licenses from?
What are licenses? Why do you need them?
Manufacturers sell licenses. Each license allows me to buy and sell a certain brand of products. I already have several basic ones, but you'll need to buy more if you want me to bring in different brands. Many of the best licenses are hard to get, but they're well worth the cost if you can find them.
Where'd you get these licenses from?
What do the different manufacturers offer?
There are too many for me to keep track of, but each license will explain what it's good for.
Okay, show me.
Let's see what you got.
You bet, Commander.
I'm not going to buy anything, I'm just... Oh! Increase maximum units of Medigel. Yeah. Oh, we're not going to buy much more. We've got 24k? Jesus. I know I need to sell some more stuff, but I'm not in the mood for this at the minute. Micromanagement. Later. Hey there, Garrus.
Commander, how are you?
You and CSEC.
Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
God, my memory. We have spoken to him already, but was it about this? I don't think so. Such as?
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
Yeah, I can understand.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
Not necessarily.
My father's a CSEC man
Yeah.
to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
Really?
You were asked to be a Spectre.
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate. Me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it.
He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
I understand.
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, C-Sec's rules.
Hmm.
If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to encourage his recklessness, but he is right. You know, we've been given license to do what needs to be done. As long as we have some sort of code, I guess, structure. We are kind of operating with alliance structures. Yeah, exactly.
You're a quick learner, Garrus. We'll beat him at his own game. It's the only way to stop someone like him.
I'm right behind you, Commander.
Commander, good to see you.
Okay. I think that was new information. Oh, I thought this might be level ups. Okay, Ashley. Have you got more to say this time?
Commander?
How are we?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
I guess the problem is, right, is that Liara, she's just got that air of kind of innocence about her. Do you know what I mean? Of being, you know, the struggle of, you know, living in the shadow of her mother and the pure blood thing, and, you know, liking being on her own, being a bit clumsy in conversation, that the bumbling scientist kind of thing. But it would be really hard to fake it that much. So I don't want to be naive and just say I believe her after speaking to her for, you know, a short amount of time, but it's kind of similar thing with Tali, right? Where you don't want to just kind of be because they're maybe a bit younger. I know Liara is much older than us, but in terms of her race, she is very young. You don't want to be kind of conned into being like, oh, I need to look after them because they're a bit younger and a bit wide-eyed. But I do believe her. No, I believe her, Ashley. I believe her.
I think she's being straight with us.
Yeah.
Or at least I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it. Hey, want me to ask her about her sex life? Might be illuminating.
Jesus, Ashley. Yeah, don't be cruel.
I don't think she's used to teasing, good-natured or otherwise.
No fun, Commander. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
Okay, Ashley. She's a bit ham-fisted. Okay, that's how we'll describe her for now. Can we chat?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was hoping to get a minute of your time. Off the record.
Of course.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
Explain yourself a bit more, please, Ashley. What do you mean?
Don't mince words, Chief. What's your concern?
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
You're out of line, Ashley. No, I think this is a reasonable concern, I suppose. You know, relations with the council are a little bit frayed. I suppose it's a bit reasonable. So I guess we just ask her straight up. Is it purely because they're aliens, or is it because is it more nuanced than that? Is it because of the political situation? Do you have any evidence to believe that they might be operating covertly, leaking information?
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
We've got because she seems like a bit headstrong, I think going at her with any kind of force here, like mind your words and stuff, it's just not a good idea. I mean, she will fall into rank, obviously, because you know, she's Alliance military. We can't rely on ourselves, though. We're hopelessly outgunned, I think, is the problem that you're not realizing here. The Turians, we can't mess with them. Yeah, we need allies, Ashley.
Standing up for ourselves doesn't mean standing alone.
I don't think we should turn down allies. I just think we shouldn't bet everything on them staying allies. As noble as the council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
Maybe. I kind of agree with her a bit, but not necessarily. I feel like the Turian might be up for abandoning us, but he's not the only voice, so... not necessarily, Ashley.
I don't see that as inevitable.
It's possible.
Look, if you're fighting a bear, and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
I'm not racist, but I understand where she's coming from. I mean, there've been wars fought and everything, I suppose, but it's not the approach to have, right? We have to cooperate. There's just we're so completely outnumbered. We can't. Yeah, we just can't. Even if it's for purely strategic reasons. Even if you do believe, even if she does believe that humanity needs to be self-sufficient, it's just a numbers game in that sense. But personally, it's just good to cooperate to expand horizons, right? In technological ways, in ways of politics, and all that kind of matters of the mind. Why are you so pro, you know, successful humanity above all else?
These seem like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
Just shut up. So did I take it they fought in the First Contact War?
I never knew my family. Grew up an orphan on Earth. Anybody in your family I'd have heard of?
Couldn't say, Commander. So why are you out here? Just trying to get away from Earth?
To see space?
No. The future of humanity is out here. There's so much we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. I still remember my first field exercise on Titan. When we hit mud, the reality hit me. I'm the first person who ever stood here. Then my drill instructor kicked me in the ass. I went face first into the muck. He spent the next 5 minutes chewing me out for gold breaking.
What?
Don't tell me you had Gunny Ellison. He's the only one who uses that word to describe shirking duty.
Oh lord, you went to the Makapog boot camp too? Yeah, Gunny Ellison's still reaming out recruits down there. Kicking ass and using words like inveigle and pusillanimous.
Jesus, what does that mean? So, what was your service like?
It doesn't sound like you've worked with aliens before.
No ma'am. Mainly I've been groundside, part of the surface garrison forces. I did get a rotation on a space station for training. Every Marine a rifleman, every rifleman ZG certified.
Okay. So she just needs her horizons broadened a little bit, I think. Just one rotation.
That's odd. Your record is spotless and your technical scores are exemplary. You should be serving with the fleet.
Anyway, that's why I haven't served with many aliens, Commander.
Oh, I'm going for a lot of neutral responses here, but you've got to work with them, Ashley. I understand her feelings, sure. I kind of want an answer that's both. I understand your feelings, but you have to work with them. You've got to work with them, Ashley. You've got to... the more you work with them, yeah. I don't want this to sound too harsh. This is why it's when you don't know exactly what you're going to say. I don't know if there's going to be mild or over the top. Because I don't want to like sympathize with her for being kind of outwardly racist towards them. You've got to work with them, Ashley.
Alright, I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're gonna have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
Thank you.
I don't think kissing Turians will be necessary.
You never know, Commander.
See you later, Ashley.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
Okay, hey there, Rex.
So, we've got Saren on the run.
Maybe.
It won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
We'll see.
Good. He's rotten. To the core. I could tell as soon as I met him.
Yeah, on Ashley, I mean, yeah. Hopefully she, through experience, she can, you know, become friends with her squad mates, I guess, the ones that aren't human. Because it's only Caden, so. You actually knew Saren?
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
Yeah.
I would have if I thought it was important.
Yeah, if it's important, it's up to me whether it's important, buddy. Now, keep going, keep talking. Let's not ruin his train of thought.
I'll decide what's important. Now tell me how you know Saren.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
So he recruited you?
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
What was he doing exactly?
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. A couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
Interesting. I think we do have to be a bit wary of Rex, in one sense. Because he's a mercenary, but I'm not sure. What was the ship exactly?
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
And the cargo itself?
What kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
He didn't see.
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
Alright. That's it?
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
We have asked him about this stuff, right? Let's ask him again. The genophage.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding
we've heard this.
impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one, and no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you ask a Krogan? It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
So long, Rex.
Okay.
Shepard.
Okay, I've got to talk to Tali, so let's do that quickly before we end the episode. I've spent the whole episode just talking to the crew. Tali might not have anything new to say either. Codex entries for days.
Oh, hello, Shepard.
Hello. You sound a bit down.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me, especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving, and the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
Yeah, so she's homesick, basically. Too quiet to sleep?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to
Right,
hear is
right,
silence.
right.
It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down.
Yeah.
I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Yeah, you're homesick. Understandable.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have till it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
Have you decided if you're going back?
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually. But we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
Okay, we've asked about all that stuff.
I should go.
See you later.
Okay, let's go and talk to Joker, and then that's everyone really, I think. Alright, Amanita. This episode's got a bit long, it takes a long time to talk to everyone. And then we will heat load monitor, examine. Now we got tons of codex entries. Alright, Joker, it was a bit dicey back there.
I prefer gold to silver, you know, for my metal. I figured you'd recommend me for one since I pulled your boots out of the fire.
Yeah, earning medals is tough. You're gonna have to do better than that.
Saving my boots from burning lava is part of your job, Joker. We don't give medals to soldiers for doing their jobs.
That figures. Just get me a nice card and a cake. No coconut, though. I hate that crap. So, Commander, why don't you tell me why you're really here?
I just wanted to chat.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going.
Oh no!
Me. Top of my class in flight school. I earned that. All those commendations in my file.
What are you talking about?
You mean? Oh,
sorry.
Put the Normandy.
I have to go.
All right, see you.
Sorry, mate.
Commander, something you need?
Status report.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet. If you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander.
All right.
I have to go.
All right, see you.
Sorry, we've heard that already. Gunnery station. Alright guys, we're going to leave that episode there. We've learned a lot about our squad mates and we'll decide where we're going. I feel like I'm just going to explore the rest of this cluster of planets if we can. So yeah, we learned a lot about Liara, the Asari history. We learned a bit about Ashley's backstory, a bit about Caden's backstory. We learned about Tali feeling a bit homesick. We learned about Garrus's father and yeah, how he wanted to be a Spectre most of his life, but his father hates them, so it's a bit of a dilemma for him. And we learnt about Rex working for Seren for a little bit, but he had the intuition to get out of Dodge before he got into trouble. So we'll leave it there. We'll decide where we're going next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave me a like if you did. Thanks for watching to the end if you made it this far. And just remember, everybody, never trust an on crate. I'll see you back on the Normandy.